Welcome to Mom Talk, episode 2 of season 2.
Remember that time we had Father's Day and you kept getting the episode number wrong?
Yeah.
And then we're all like, no. And Scott's like, do you want me to do it? And you're like, no.
No.
That was funny. Those are good memories.
Episode 2 is easy to remember. Although we had some discussion before we started whether this was actually episode 2
but this is
or not.
season 2, episode 2.
Yes.
Look at us go. We can count. We have 2 people watching so far. That
Hey, welcome.
better be Brian as one person. Yep, he's here.
Woo!
He did not realize we've been going live, so he's been missing out.
Yeah, he was sad last week. He missed out.
Yeah.
So
We're like,
we made sure that he knew.
Yeah.
Make
All
sure
them
your
for him.
friends know by liking, sharing,
Subscribe.
subscribing, getting your
bell,
friends to
hit
do
a,
all those things.
Hit a bell.
Something or other.
Do whatever. Any random bell? Does that work?
It's me! Hey, Shalana!
Shalana!
Shalana is an auntie again.
So exciting.
Yes, we're
Very,
very
very
excited.
exciting. Yeah. I was telling Shalana today, I know, sorry, we haven't done the coffee yet, but I was telling her today that I remember when my niece was born and I was driving home from Kingston knowing that my sister-in-law was in labor and Taven was like on her way. And I was driving and I was going, like I was like, and that's not usually me. I was just like, I'm so excited. And it was like the, closest thing at that moment to me having my own child was my brother and his wife having a child, and I just remember being extremely excited. And then I said to Shalana, did you feel like that? Oh, hi, Barb. I said, did she feel like that? She said she felt more like that with Emerson when she didn't have hers.
That's right.
And now it's more like she's excited for the boys to be together like this. So they have 3 grandsons now in that family.
Yes.
And I know Kevin is anxious for a girl, so keep at her, guys. Got a job ahead of you.
Yes, hi, Barb. Welcome.
What camp are you at, Barb?
Our camp.
What camp? At Lakeshore?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep.
Very cool.
She lives on the same road as me.
Seriously?
Mm-hmm. She's the first trailer on the right-hand side.
Like, for how long?
Since her mom passed away. Maybe she'll tell us.
Lakeshore.
Anyway, shall we get
I
started?
am very confused, but we're glad you're here.
You know she's related to me, right?
What Barb is this?
Barb Jerowiak.
Who is this? Am I getting Barbs mixed up? That goes to our church?
No, she does not go to our church.
Okay. Was the different Barb? I'm not sure who you are, Barb, but thanks. I know?
She knew your grandmother, I think.
Okay.
She commented and
Oh,
said that
I'm
your grandmother was
really-
a nice woman.
she was. Thank you. I was thinking it was Barb that goes to our church.
Anyways, I know who you are, Barb. It's okay.
Meanwhile,
Rebecca's mom. Yeah.
oh,
You know Rebecca.
I do know Rebecca,
There you
and
go.
I do know you. I just didn't know your name. You're Rebecca's mom. That counts, right? Okay.
Anyways, tell us what you're drinking.
I
almost
am
gone.
having. I know. I needed a refill. My brain is going in a million places right now. So first, this is caramel creme something or another. I don't know.
Cool.
But it tastes good. Barb, you had long hair
Yeah.
when I was younger, and you used to ride Rebecca and I around in that little like bike thing. I know who you are now. Like, you know those kids' bikes that go behind, and we're good. Okay, what are you drinking?
I am drinking just a regular decaf coffee. Last week I had caramel macchiato flavored cream.
Yes.
And today I have upgraded to Starbucks pumpkin spice latte flavored creamer. It is the best. It is
This was
so
her
good.
reaction yesterday when she had it for the first time.
Oh, goodness. Oh, it's so,
this
yeah.
is good.
This is so good.
Yeah.
And
And she even brought a refill.
I brought refills because I knew I was going to down it so fast. I was going to need more. I'm sorry that I didn't suggest the same for you.
I really think that, yeah, we need to do that. Or with all the money that Scott's making on Twitch, get
Yeah.
a
All that
Keurig
money.
down here.
All that money went through the
What did our
curtains.
producer just say? He said something. I'm not sure.
You're still in the negative? Sounds
yeah.
about right.
But you are getting he's getting a lot of followers and getting a
Yeah.
lot of tread and action going on there. So that's really, really cool. Hey, Aunt Cheryl. How are you? Aunt Cheryl will probably be coming up in a little bit. We'll get to see you.
Shalana says Mackenzie has that flavored coffee and loves it. It's so good.
Yeah, it's really good. So, do we have anything else? Is that it? Bye, everyone. I'm just joking. So you had watched a video with the honey-do list thing. That was your...
Yeah, it wasn't like, I mean, I wrote honeydew as a, like, reminder, but it was a really interesting video. I forget what the girl's name is. She does lots of videos. She was
Is it Barb?
No. She's one of, like, the first women who did, like, mom videos. Anyway, so she shared this video of when her son was struggling to be responsible, but he wanted to earn a specific responsibility. And so she wrote out a list of things that he could do to help earn that thing that he wanted.
Right.
And she said she got, like, her name's Christina. And her last name's, like, something weird. Anyways.
Did somebody write it up
It
there?
just popped into my head. Anyways.
It's Christina.
Anyways,
telling me.
she said she like walked up to her son's door to like give him the list, and then she like froze and stopped and backed up. And instead of just giving him the list of things that he could do, she added a bunch of the things that he was already doing that was good. So that when he got the list, he wasn't just discouraged, like, oh, this is everything I have to do, but he could be encouraged that, like, mom sees what I'm doing and I'm doing these things already.
That's cool.
And
it's all, yeah, that's almost as like appreciation and like, I really like you are nailing it on these things. Keep it up. You're doing great. And then could you also look at these things? That's cool.
That video, like, hit me like a ton of bricks.
Have you implemented that? Producer?
No. No, I watched it the other day. But I would say no in that context. But see, I very much am quick to see things that I don't like. Yep. Like sometimes I don't know what I do like, but I know what I don't like, right?
I would agree with for myself as well. Like making decisions on something, I'm like, I don't know how to explain what I want, but I really don't want that.
That, yes.
Yeah.
And so I just in general, I have a tendency to be very quick to criticize or to give suggestions for improvement and forget the positive side or even just acknowledging the positive side. So my baby step has been to try and recognize when the kids are doing something good, to acknowledge that in the moment. So that's, I mean, it's not exactly like the video, but it's a takeaway, and I think that we have to celebrate baby steps. So that's my celebration.
Yeah. I think that it's really important to catch kids doing the right thing, and it's hard to remember sometimes, right? But even like Jack, you had a rule that he was supposed to ask before he got something out of the fridge because he just goes in like crazy. And today he asked.
Yes.
And that was nice to be able to catch him in that, right? But like it's easy.
But I wasn't the one who caught him. It was you. I was like, no, you can't eat whatever you wanted in the fridge.
But he did ask, and that was really cool. But it's also really, really hard to remember to do that.
Yeah, it can be, especially like because we can get tunneled into like I need results, right?
Yeah.
Your aunt says she loves me too.
She does. There's lots of love going around. Yeah, anybody else still here? We have 5 viewers still.
Very nice.
It's very cool.
Where's Carly? Come on.
Yeah, Carly. What's going on? I would want to call her, but I don't know if it's bedtime. That's scary to do.
Scary. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we can just text her. Do you have her text?
I have her in Discord.
Oh, let's see.
I joined Discord today.
You joined as Mom Talk, which is a little bit false advertising to me.
That is the name I want to change to on Twitch when I'm allowed to change my name. It was Carly's suggestion.
But then, what if I'm
I don't know
talking?
how to get to Discord. I'm gonna put that down. No, it's Mom Talk Jen.
Oh, okay. I'm not changing mine because mine is a really cool.
Yeah, you go for it.
Yeah.
But no, I put my name in it.
Oh, okay. I didn't see. I was just like, that's kind of confusing of who it is.
Of who it is. I get that.
I don't have her cell phone number. She's doesn't want.
Hey,
me to get her cell phone.
if you're watching and you have Carly's contact, tell her
you
to
wanna text
pop
her?
on and watch us.
Say hi, Carly. You support Scott. What's up? Why aren't you here, Carly? Somebody tag her in this stream here. Is that what this is? I don't know.
I don't
a
even know.
gamer's stream. This is podcast, videocast. I don't know.
I know. Anyways,
Whoa, what happened? I don't know what our screen.
our
just
monitor went
right
away. So what's the first thing on our list? No, that was our first
That
thing.
what? We're doing really
We're
well.
super professional tonight.
So yeah, but then we were also talking about how grateful I am for Bri.
Yes.
And how our house had the craziness of summer going on, and then he spent the first few days of school cleaning up the house, and it looked amazing. And then he worked this weekend, and it is destroyed.
It does not take long.
No, and it's worse when I get into this thing where he's working all weekend, so I feel like I need to plan stuff so it's not just sitting at home and then they're bored, I'm feeling antsy, I got to do stuff because I like to do things. I like being busy-ish and keep things going. But then when I haven't spent that time at home, we're in and out. And whenever you're in and out, you don't get a chance to pick up when you were in.
Yeah.
Because you're already out. And so, yeah, I felt rather bad when I popped in tonight to grab something, and then we were coming over here, and I was like, ooh, this is quite messy. And I didn't accomplish. I wanted to go through the kids' clothes to see what didn't fit and get ready for a new season, but I didn't get around to that. And there was something else too that I wanted to do, but I didn't. But the kids and I went to the movies yesterday. We haven't done that in a while.
I think you guys, it sounds like you guys had a really successful weekend overall.
Yes, it was good, and I think we had a good time together.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
Shout out to all the single moms and shift worker moms who have to slug it for days.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm quite fortunate, but it does, when it is the weekends to work, I definitely feel it. And by Sunday afternoon, I'm just I'm tapping out. So, yeah, it's a lot. And I have it easy compared to a lot. My brother goes away 15 days at a time and all of that stuff. So that's not fun. But yeah, I'm thankful for a husband who cleans up when we're not there. And it's definitely easier now that the kids are in school to have the house to yourself and clean up. But
yes, I noticed that when Jack was a baby, I was able to keep the house tidier. I was trying to think about whether I could do that with Eliza. I don't think I could because Jack still wasn't in school yet. So it was harder. I mean, the house was cleaner, tidier than it is now, but it's just it's so hard. And all those memes where they talk about brushing your teeth with Oreos, they actually feel real, because by the time I have cleaned up the kitchen counter, the table and the floor is a mess. And I thought I was winning yesterday by letting Jack color on a box with markers or whatever, and the next thing I knew, there was marker all over the floor, there's marker all over the cupboard and the drawers, and
and a cut up envelope that you kind of freaked out about.
That was a huge freak out. Okay, so
I felt
in order to register the kids for school, you need to provide a copy of the birth certificate and immunization records.
Right.
And so I'd forgotten to get Jack's, and it occurred to me the other day, and so I was like, okay, I went to the spot where we hide all the important documents, and I pulled out this envelope, and it was the envelope from the government, and it had the social insurance number letters, because they don't give you a card anymore. It's just literally an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper that they give you with a number on it, which I feel is so terrible. But anyways, so I have this paper and the birth certificates, and I pull it out, and I'm like, I'm not separating anything. I'm gonna lose it, so I'm gonna keep the whole envelope and take it to the school, photocopy the birth certificate, put it back in the envelope, and then put it back in our spot. And I had left the envelope with our stuff to go to school the next day, and I went up to put Eliza to bed. And when I came downstairs after putting Jack to bed, I found the envelope cut to shreds. And my heart stopped because I was like, oh man, like 2 birth certificates, 2 social insurance numbers, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna have to pay for all of that. Like, I was so upset, and like Renee's like in my ear, and I was like, just go away. And then she's like trying. She can see I'm upset, and she wants to know
what's wrong.
What's wrong? How can she help? Yeah, I was just like, just go away. And I was so upset. And then I found all the papers, not one scratch or cut on any of the papers.
Thank you, Lord.
I know. The envelope destroyed, so he literally took the whole pile out.
Which is amazing that he took the pile out. Like, that is definitely a God thing because...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So now they're in a Ziploc bag, hidden away.
Yes. The other thing, I'm feeling a yawn coming up.
Oh.
Excuse me. Do you ever do that? Like, when you're, like, trying to suppress it, and then it gets bigger?
Yeah. Or like I can feel it in my jaw. Like I start clenching, trying to hold the yawn in.
You're like,
and then I end up yawning like this.
Speaking of which, I love that tonight you were like, Renee, you have to get down here right now. And all of us were like...
No, but your tone wasn't even nailed it. It was like, Renee, get down here right now.
And we all thought she was in trouble. But she was like, no, I want you to see this. This is so neat. James, come too. And I was like, like that's so confusing. Like it.
But it worked. She moved her rear end.
She did. And it was to see a frog on the door, which was really cool.
It was very cool.
But yeah, she's like, yeah, I confuse my family a lot. Thank you.
I know it's going to be a little bit
that's not
sugar
yeah,
for
but
you,
that's not as like it's not a whole cup. So, yeah. The other thing we were going to talk about is our kids being independent.
Yeah, it's come up a couple times in the last little while, and I thought let's chat about that. So we live.
Oh my goodness, that's good.
Right. Anyways,
except I would not be able to drink very much because they would be too sweet.
Way too sweet. Anyways, so we live like one street over from each other. And it's connected by a little pathway in the field. And we let our kids travel from our houses to each other's.
And same with we like work at the church and school, and it's just like down the street from both of our houses. Like it kind of goes, and so we'll allow the kids to go back and forth.
But we've taught them how to do that. And we've started with like, okay, I'm like calling you at the school or to church or whatever, saying like, kids leaving, be there in a second, let me know when they get there.
We started with like, I would stand at the church doors and Brian would stand at the bushes, so I could literally see Brian, but allowing them to walk across the grass, crossing the road, seeing how they could handle it and all of that stuff. And so we started them there. Then we started them with a little bit more and stuff. And
they're really gaining independence and feeling confident with walking back and forth.
And I'm sorry. I'm going to go to bed here, I think.
It's okay.
So, and like Cadence, she was older when we allowed her further because her attention was off and all of that kind of thing. Yeah. So, she was older when we allowed her to be independent in going back and forth. Yeah. Micah is more like attention to detail and kind of thing. So he was a bit younger than her. So I think Cadence was probably...
Plus he had her example to learn from.
Yeah. Cadence was probably more like 7.5, 8. Whereas she did before, but we would still be at the bushes in the door. And whereas Micah was probably like 5, like he's been... Or maybe, 5.5, I guess.
And he
Yeah.
went with sister a lot.
He went with sister, and then now he's working his way to going by himself and stuff like that. So,
But it's interesting because then we've talked about like how some like when people don't see the training process, it can be unsettling
Yeah.
to see the children being independent,
Yes.
out alone or
Yeah.
whatever. But you've actually had an experience where someone approached
Yeah.
your daughter.
yeah. So she was going across the street, and it was dark, and and so we had, like, we've talked to them about what they do if somebody comes up to them, kick, scream, bite, whatever, scream, like, get away.
Yeah.
Go to somebody's house that is safe, which we have lots, thankfully, of friends and stuff in the neighborhood. But she was going down the street and across, and Brian was watching from upstairs, and there was a truck that went down and then kind of back and then pulled in right by where Cadence was walking. And all I hear is boom out the door, and I was like, what's happening? And yeah, there was a gentleman who sorry, I'm distracted.
Scott.
Hey, producer. We have a distraction in our midst. The vehicle had pulled over and asked if it said they had lost a dog, and asked if Cadence had seen it. There apparently was a lost dog, but Cadence was like, nope, and then like beelined it home, which is exactly what we've said. And then we've talked to her about like how that can be somebody wanting like you to come with them, or, and you never do that. And she's like, no, I didn't know it was and stuff like that.
But anyways, it's very interesting because like she's already had those experiences.
She
and
has,
been
and we've talked
successful.
about it, and stuff like they're not allowed to open the door without asking, and even with it's for family members, like, so they'll still, can we let grandma in the door? And I know she's coming, so yes, but like we have kind of a frosted window, so you may look out and say, oh, that's grandpa or grandma, but maybe it's not.
But maybe it's not. Yeah, I was really impressed the other day. We had a candidate who's running for counselor coming by door to door.
Yeah.
And I was in the backyard, and Jack came and said someone's at our front door, and the main door was open. It was just the screen. And I was really impressed that he didn't open the door and came and got me. And
those
really
things
good.
build confidence in their ability to problem solve or
follow
direction.
And I praised him, and I was like, I'm so proud of you for not
hey,
opening
see, you
the
caught
door.
him.
Yeah,
Good job. But yeah.
But it's interesting because and I was saying that when I was in teachers college, we, in one of our classes, we talked about independence of children and how there's a huge decline in child independence in every generation. And so they put up like a map on the screen of like there was this family home where like generations had lived in the same home, and they showed this big radius circle from the home and said great grandpa was allowed in his days in like the 50s or whatever to travel this far away from home, but then grandpa was only allowed this distance, and then dad was only allowed this distance, and then the son is only allowed this distance, all at like around the same age, like 7, 8 years old. And how they were saying that like now children just don't know how to function out in the world, and that like while we don't want to like we obviously understand the dangers that are out there and we want to protect our children, but we also want to prepare them for real life. And I was saying like I don't want my kids to be like 14 years old when it's the first time they're walking by themselves to the store or something, right?
Well, and the other thing is our kids will probably have to walk to high school.
Yeah.
And for Cadence, that's 4 years away. So it's
Preparing
something
her.
to recognize as well.
Because I know that has been, like, there have been a number of people who have, like, both moms and kids feeling like it's a really huge traumatic thing to let their kid walk to high school.
But it's hard, like, because you are aware of more things. We're a broken and hurting world, and people make bad choices, and we hear about it more, right? With social media, media, internet, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's easy to have that fear. And there's a balance, because I'm not going to let my kids just
go
wherever.
But I know, like, we were saying, like, difference between, like, you lived in the country and I lived in town. And at, like, 7 and 8 years old, I was walking several blocks to the library. I was going to, like, No Frills was still downtown, and my mom would give me money, and I would go to No Frills and get, like, butter or milk or whatever she needed for supper.
Yeah.
And, like, I would just ride my bike, and I knew my boundaries within the community, and I would just go. And I remember doing that from, like, at least third or fourth grade. Like, I was walking to school, and that was like a 10-minute walk.
Yeah.
At fourth grade. And so, like, our kids are in fifth grade. So, like, And
I know my mom would send us into a store with money and allow us to, like, have that experience and stuff like that.
It's so important.
It is important. But it's also, like, when you have people question it, I always second guess myself a little bit. Like, I'm like, okay, so am I off here? Is that, like, it's always when you get information or reactions, I always like, okay, how do I feel comfortable with this, or those kind of things.
I think it's important to do that too, to check, right? Like, it's like
check in place,
a check-in. I was gonna say something else, something to do with the store. Oh well, it's gone.
And then we were talking about extracurricular activities.
Yeah,
starting to get busy.
Our weekly Wednesday night program at our church starts this week.
Yep.
So that's exciting. And it's just crazy, like, things I'm seeing. Like, a friend of mine, her son just started, like, flag football, and, like, basketball is starting back up again. And, like, we got a thing in the flyer for piano lessons and vocal lessons. And it just seems like there's so much out there. And I was chatting with someone this morning, and, like, she was saying, like, one day, they have one day in the week. And I was like, guard that day with your life. And she was like, I know. Like, she's like, I don't want to have dinners with other people. I just want, like, we need that day. And I was like, absolutely. And it reminded me of, like, when we did the best yes. And it talked about, like, we have to make time for the things that we want to be intentional about. And whether that's family, or whether that, like, the best yes talked about having, like, a day where God could use you, right? So it would be like, okay, I know that I want to strategically cultivate relationships with people in my community, so I'm going to guard, say, Tuesday night.
Yeah.
So whether I have plans or not, it's available to, like, to do something that you've intentionally chosen. And I was like, it's very, like, being intentional about our schedule, like, really thinking that out. We've already double booked our Wednesdays, so it's like hoping things settle down there.
Shalana said she remembers the first time she was allowed to cross the road to the convenience store after school. I felt like such a grown-up.
Right?
And
what was that, grade 4? What it would have been about 4th grade?
Maybe. This past week, actually, it's been back and forth. Cadence has wanted to try to go to the convenience store by herself and get, like, ice cream or something, or with Micah. So, and then she's kind of, like, gotten fearful and backed off and didn't want to do it. But this week she decided she wanted to try. So we gave her the money, and I gave them lots of money to cover, and told them they could only get something from the coolers for the ice cream or whatever. And it was successful. She did well. And, so that was good. And, like, those little times that they can show that they have that responsibility and can handle it, and also for us to show them that we trust them, and that we believe that they can handle it and do it, even like if they don't have the strategy of counting out the money, then what are other options that we can do and that kind of thing. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, Shalana said about
Probably
about
about there,
there.
right? Something else I did when the kids were really little, when we would go out on walks, I would prepare the kids. Okay, you see, there's a gentleman who's coming towards us. I want you to look him in the eyes and say good morning.
Yeah.
And it was more than just like, I definitely wanted them to learn social skills to be able to speak to strangers, because that's a huge thing. Like,
But then you have my kids. It's COVID. And Cadence is, hey, I like your hair. Like, look at that dog. That's a nice dog. I like your dog. And they're talking to every single person they saw. They were ready to start up a conversation.
and nobody wanted to talk to them.
No, they were very, very friendly and very friendly. But they would start up a conversation with, like, everybody. Yeah, it's very funny.
Well, I remember thinking, though, when they were really little, see, I feel like when sometimes when crisis happens, details will drop from my memory. And so I remember thinking, I want my kids to look people in the eye when they meet them, because I think that if they can look them in the eye, they'll have a better chance of remembering facial features or
Interesting.
whatnot. So if anything bad happened, they could say the person looked like
Wow.
this.
I never, ever would have thought of that.
But I thought, like, that was something that I thought about. Like, it was a twofold thing. I wanted them to learn
Interesting.
social skills, and I wanted them to, like, pay attention to the way that
Interesting.
people
Yep,
look.
definitely have never thought of that.
I've often thought, like, if I was ever, like, a witness to a robbery or whatnot, I wouldn't be able to tell you whether the person had blonde hair or black hair or whatnot. Like, I remember once,
never
like,
thought
I
of that
worked with a
either.
colleague, and I had to describe her, and we weren't on the same level, and I was like, I think she has blonde hair, and I was like, oh,
So it makes
goodness.
sense to me that you've been put in that position and you weren't aware, and you're like, oh, I thought I would have been. And then to try to, that makes sense to me
Yeah.
that that's something that you think about. And
Yeah.
like, yeah, for sure. The extracurricular, I think, is Cadence is in dance and she loves it. I've always wondered how you guys, like, COVID has slowed down, but I've always, like, I have no idea how you guys kept up so many extracurricular activities so long and so many and, like, ongoing. I don't think I could mentally do it.
Yeah, it was
Um,
hard, but we made a lot of them family things, like swimming. We all went, and it was like all of us going, and it was a
Yeah.
family affair. It was better when we switched to Saturday mornings. That was nicer than
Yeah.
evenings. But yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. So Cadence is in dance, and that's really nice because her dance teacher, like, I love that Cadence is learning dance perfect, but more important to me, like, her dance teacher is, like, building up her self-esteem and confidence and just creates such an amazing, loving, supportive environment. And I'm like, I'm so glad she's a part of our community and that my daughter has her. And she was one of the first places when Cadence shaved her head for her friend, that she felt comfortable enough talking about it with the students that were in that class and stuff like that. And so I really, really care about her doing that. And I think it's really good. Mike, on the other hand, takes so much after me that he doesn't want to try anything unless he thinks he's going to be fine at it and know it already before he's been taught. I would love to find him something. This week he's shown interest in karate. So maybe check that out. But it's tricky with karate because I guess it's like you pay all year round no matter what. So
Oh.
that's really tricky because summer times I would rather take off, but we will have to see. But I would love to find him something.
But there could be maybe something like in the martial arts family that isn't necessarily karate, like that might be of
possibly.
interest.
I think also a not driving force, like, I don't know, is because his friend goes there as well. So
And that's huge. Like,
it makes
it's
a
like
big difference. Yeah.
oftentimes kids need to know that, especially to try something new. Like, I know I have a lot of anxiety over trying new things, but I'll be more likely to try new things if I know that someone that I know is going to be there, right? Like, to just put us at ease and break down those barriers. So I think that's really cool. Like, if he does and it works out, that might be...
You never know. We'll see. I haven't told Brian about that. Hey, Bri. There you go. He was interested in karate this week. We'll see what last week. We'll see what this week holds. So, uniforms at Cornerstone.
Our school has uniforms now.
I found it interesting because I know at the start, and I would have been the same, like, oh, uniforms and like...
A little bit of pushback.
Yeah. Did we talk about this already on here or just like in life?
I don't know.
But I've had... And my kids aren't affected by this, but I've had parents like say they find it so much easier because it's not a whole lot of options. Like, you have a bin of clothes, choose your uniform, and that's it. Like, it takes the pressure off of like, oh, this is cool, I'm gonna wear that. Oh no, I wore that one yesterday. Oh, I shouldn't wear, like, that kind of thing.
Yeah, you end up like a lot of kids are wearing literally the same clothes as yesterday.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
You're welcome.
I, as a mother, have found it interesting because I have never sorted my laundry. I have always washed everything in the same cycle on like cold water and just whatever. But now that I have uniforms and all of these white shirts that I would like to keep white, I feel like I need to
separates
sort
your
my
white,
clothes. And so I like feel like I just got shoved into like adulthood.
Yeah.
Because now I have a load of lights and a load of darks and a load of everything else.
Yeah. I am impressed that you got pizza sauce stain like that was all over.
My goodness. I was not thinking.
A white
and I
short
sent him
shirt.
in a white uniform shirt and a Lunchable, pizza Lunchable. Just not even thinking
it was
at all.
Everywhere. Like, he came out for recess and I was like collar, like everywhere. And I was like, oh, dude. You got it out. Good job.
It took me a while. I tried a lot of things. So I typically my go-to is dish soap. Especially with foods, I will tend to go to dish soap first. And that did not work. It had definitely set in. I didn't get to it fast enough.
Right.
And so dish soap did not work. My mother-in-law sent me some stuff about like an ice cube and things.
I've heard that
and,
too, yeah.
Did not work. And someone suggested hydrogen peroxide, that they use that for everything. And that didn't work, but maybe I didn't do it right. I don't know. I, at this point, was like, you know what? The shirt's wrecked. He's never going to wear it. I might as well just bleach it because, like, that's a last resort. And I forgot about it, went over to the school. Yeah. So it ended up sitting in my sink with a mixture of bleach and water for 3 hours.
Does it smell like a pool now?
No. But yeah, when we took it out, it, like, all of the stains were gone. It's a nice white shirt. And I was like, whoa. And the logo didn't get affected at all.
That's very, very impressive.
I know.
Yeah,
so
that's very impressive.
Just trying to keep the white shirts white.
Yeah.
I now have a Tide to Go in my purse. And then I bought more bleach. And I bought like OxyClean spray. And
the Tide to Go stuff. I have used a lot. And I have a white, the white tank top shirt or whatever, and I got pen on it, and it got out. The Tide to Go got the pen out.
Because the trick is getting things right away.
Yes, quickly,
and not through the dryer.
No, that always frustrates Brian when he's like, "Oh, I didn't know it was on there," and it frustrates him because he does the laundry.
Yeah. And, like,
which is very awesome.
In our house, I tend to start the wash.
Yeah.
And then be like, I'm tired, I'm going to bed. Scott, will you put the laundry in the dryer? And he doesn't know. And so he just throws it all in the dryer. And then I'm pulling it out the next day. And I'm like, no!
Yeah.
It's not his fault. I'm mad at me. But, like,
it comes out at others. Yeah, for sure.
So
we still have 8 people here.
Hey.
I'm curious on who's here.
Well, Brian, because he just commented.
Brian. Well, that was like a whole 3 minutes ago.
A whole
I don't
3
know,
minutes ago.
It's really nice doing the lives. It helps
Yeah.
us. It's nice to have people engaged and commenting and talking with us.
It feels like a community.
Yes.
It's nice.
And it's also helpful because it doesn't put, I mean, Scott's down here, but it doesn't put more for the editing and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Extra.
And you get to see
us,
like us at our finest. Us real.
Yeah. It's a pretty something there happening. Those are words.
Still here.
Brian's still here, but we're thankful that everyone's here and came out and all of that stuff. And we'll probably be back next week, or
I hope so.
should be.
Pastor Todd said we never know what the next 5 minutes hold, though. So you never
Or
know.
1 minute.
Or 1 minute.
Who knows
Who
what could happen?
Knows. Well, make sure that you are
Tap the button on the
liking
thing.
us.
There you go.
And following us on Facebook. Make sure you subscribe and follow us on YouTube. Hi, Kim. And then we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.